Howdy, Brad from wpsites.net. Let's take a look at the WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin. This is part 2 in a two-part series of setting up Yoast's WordPress SEO plugin. So let's just log into your WordPress dashboard, and once you install the plugin, you'll find all the settings down on the left hand side here. I've already been through these, so you'll find a link in the post. If you've only just installed the plugin, you'll find a link in the post which you can click on plugin settings, and you need to configure all these settings. I won't be going through them in this video. What I'll be going through is this section here. Once you install the plugin, as well as configuring these settings, you'll get this meta box or module underneath every add new post or edit post screen, and the same on pages as well. And there's got 4 features to this module, and every time you write new content, you really need to go through this and configure these settings. So let's just look at the first section of this. Is the general section, and you want to choose a focus keyword, and basically a keyword that you focus your content on for the entire post, and you build your content around that focus keyword. So let's just go into an existing post, and I'll take the post about the WordPress SEO plugin, and I'll just show you what I've done there. I've basically built the content around the settings of this module, and focused it on the keyword WordPress SEO by Yoast, and that's a keyword I'm targeting in Google search results. So here it is here. We'll just click on this post, and I'll show you exactly what I've done here. Here's the WordPress SEO by Yoast. This is my focus keyword, so all the content in this post is focused on the WordPress SEO by Yoast keyword. It's in the title here. You can see it here. It's the focus keyword which I've entered here. It's in the article heading. It's the page title. It's in the URL. You can see it in here, WordPress SEO by Yoast. It's in the content on 2 occasions. I haven't purposely stuck it in the content on 2 occasions. It's just occurred naturally. So make sure you don't stick it all over your content and try to stuff your page full of your focus keyword. You just want it to occur naturally, and it's in my meta description, which is here. So you'll need to put a meta description in here, and this will just be a short description of basically what your content contains. So here's your snippet preview. This will be shown in the search results. This is the focus keyword that we're focusing the content on. So make sure you focus your content on WordPress SEO by Yoast. Don't start talking about all-in-one SEO plugin or another SEO plugin unless you're doing a comparison. Just focus on WordPress SEO by Yoast. And now you can place an SEO title in here. This is my title here, but I could place a different title here, and this will be the one that will be included in the search results. So I could just have guide to WordPress SEO or something like that, but I don't like using this feature. I really want to keep the same title which my readers see as what will appear in the search results, but you can change that if you choose. Always add a meta description, and again, don't stuff it with keywords. Just make sure it's a description of the overall content on that particular page. You'll find in my post, I've written a separate post on best practices when creating meta descriptions, so you can click through and you can have a read of that, and that also links to Google and what Google tells you about meta descriptions. So that's the general section of these particular settings for the WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin. Now next up is page analysis. So once you've written all your content, you've filled in these settings here. Save the draft, and before you publish it, click on page analysis, and this will give you a lot of little handy tips Look, no one understands SEO 100%. There are no real SEO experts that know exactly how Google index content, but this guy, he's pretty good. The author, the developer of the plugin, he's very experienced. So he's put some tips in here which you can just have a quick look at, and we'll just take a look at what's turned up after I've finished writing this draft. The first ones in red will tell you that you've done something wrong or something you need to definitely look at. The keyword doesn't appear in the first paragraph of the copy. Make sure the topic is clear immediately. Now, that doesn't mean I need to put it in here. I've got Yoast's WordPress SEO plugin, which really is a synonym or a derivative of WordPress SEO by Yoast. So in my opinion, that's fine. You don't have to put the exact focus keyword on the first line as well as the title. And I think this is quite important, that you use keywords and key phrases which all have the same meaning. And WordPress SEO by Yoast and Yoast's WordPress SEO plugin are pretty much the same thing. People will type different keywords into the Google search box. They're not all going to type in WordPress SEO by Yoast. I know that. When you do keyword research, you'll see all the different keywords and phrases which have all the same meaning. So just try to use them naturally within the post. Don't stuff keywords in. It's really not a good idea. I do basic keyword research, but I do not stuff keywords in there and trying to cover all bases with SEO. Because I think the natural approach is the best, and I'm writing this to help my readers. I'm not writing it trying to rank in the search engines. If you try to do that, I think Google's going to pick you up and they're going to penalize you. So keep it natural. And there's more tips on how you should write at the end of this post, and we'll go into that at the end of this video. So that's the first one there. So we've covered that topic. I'm happy with that. You have not used your keyword or key phrase in any subheading such as a H2 heading. Now here's a subheading here, general. I use H3, not H2. Yes, that's correct. I haven't used it in any of these, but I think that's alright. You can use part of your key phrase in your subheadings, or all of it if you like. It's really up to you. But I've written this naturally. I'm not going to go and stick it in there because the plugin tells me I should, and so I'm quite happy with that. Third one, the keyword for this page contains one or more stop words like by. This is not a keyword. This is not going to be help you a lot, or a or at or something like that. Well, that's understandable. So I've taken that out of the permalink there. I've edited it before I published it, and I've only got in the keywords in here plus a couple more. So I mean, you've got to leave that in there. If I change that to guide to WordPress SEO Yoast on page, it's not going to make sense. So I take that into consideration. And I'm quite happy with that. The specified meta description is over 156 characters. Wow. Let's have a look at that. Let's just go back to general. It's over 156 characters. Well, that's not true. It says here I've got one character left to add. So I don't know why it's saying that. You can configure the meta description template by going to these settings here. So I've already configured that, and that's in my other post about it, this plugin. So I don't agree with that, so I'm happy with what I've got there. The page title contains keyword phrase, but it does not appear at the beginning. Well, we've been through that before, so I don't know why it's mentioning that again. The page title contains 75 characters, which is more than the viewable limit of 70 characters. Well, fair enough. Fair enough, it does. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's gone over the limit a little bit. It's cut off WP sites there. So what I could do is I could change this, couldn't I? I could just have, I could take that, put the SEO title in there, and cut off the part 2, and that way the WP sites will fit in at the end. So that might be better if I do that. So let's just have a look at that. Let's just update it. I've already published this post. So this is something you can use that setting for. The part 2 is not, it doesn't need to be included in the search results really. I mean, I could put that in the meta description or somewhere else, but it's not that important for the title at all. Then again, it could be attractive. Let's take a look here. So I've taken it out of here. Let's just go back to page analysis and see what it has to say. Alright, so that's solved that problem. So let's move on to the next one. The copy score is 63.4, which is considered okay to read. So I'm not sure of this Flesch reading ease test, but it's maybe something you might be interested in. So that's got something to do with reading ease. I don't really understand that. I've never looked at it, but you might be interested in that. The images on this page all contain alt tags with target keyword phrase, so that's good. I've covered all that. I've optimized my images, and I've included a another post on my site about how to optimize images. This page has one outbound link. I've included a link, an outbound link. Well, I've included several outbound links. I've got one here to plugin settings, which is the part 1 of this this guide. I've got one on keyword research tools, which is a very popular post. I've got one here on best practices. So I've included, I've got a couple more down here. I've included 5 or 6 outbound links. So the plugin's telling me of, what's it saying? The page has one outbound link. There's more than one, so it's not that accurate, is it? The keyword phrase appears in the URL, so I've covered that. The keyword density is 1.1%, so I doubt whether I'm going to get penalized for keyword stuffing. The density is pretty low at 1.1%. The keyword was found 6 times. Oh, it's different to what they said before. It said it only found it once in the copy. It's found 6 times because I've got it included in the image alt text. That's the reason they found it so many times. I've got quite a few images in there, 6 or 7 images, which I've added the keyword to. The alt text. The page title is more than 40 characters and less than 70. Well, that's good. The meta description contains a primary keyword. Yep, I've included that. There are 554 words, which is more than the minimum 300, so I've covered that. So I'm happy with that. You know, so you got to do this based on your own needs. Now let's move on to the next page of settings and advanced. I just keep these as default. I don't play around with these. By default, all my posts will be indexed. If I want to non-index 1 or 2 of them, which I have done, I just come back here and I no index it, which you can do here, and I can no follow it as well. So I'd keep all these the default, and this will depend on the settings that you've configured in the first part of this this guide. So whatever you set up here in the templates here, this will be used as a default here. But if you ever need to no follow or no index one specific page or post, you can come to these settings and do it here. You can also add a 301 redirect. So if for some reason, and I've used this a couple of times, if you've written something very similar content, and Google may consider it as duplicate content, and I've actually done it on a post like this. It's actually been about WordPress SEO by Yoast. I've actually written 2 posts on the same subject, one nearly 2 years ago. So I indexed the second one. The first one I just put a redirect to the second one in here. So I just placed the URL to the second post I'd written on the same topic, and I put it in here, and that way I'm not going to get penalized for duplicate content. So this is a handy built-in feature for WordPress SEO, and he's included a lot of really cool things in the plugin. It really is a great little plugin. And that page analysis will help you learn about the on-page SEO. So it's really good for beginners to you know, and you can take your time learning to understand all different elements of on-page SEO and all the different terms. So that's the reason I recommend the plugin. It's really good for beginners. You need to understand the basics of SEO, particularly on-page SEO. Now, this is the last setting, the social setting, and basically this is like the meta description we've put in here, and this will be included in the snippet, see, in the search results. For this one, this will be included in the description if you publish this post to Facebook or Google+. So you can, rather than use the default one which you've entered in here, you can actually make a custom one for what will appear if you post this link on Facebook or Google+. So you can have a totally different description in there. So that's a pretty good idea. It's not something that I use, but it's definitely, if you want to take the time and effort, you could put something here which is a bit more social, you know, a bit more sort of less technical or something, I guess. So you could have a completely different meta description than what you're using here. Now, if you don't, this is the main meta description. If you don't place a meta description in here and give a description of the overall content of the post or page, this plugin will take the first couple of lines and it will include that in the snippet. Okay, and this is the snippet that's included in the Google search results, and I'll just show you now how it's included. Let's just copy this. So, and we'll go to Google and we'll see what I mean by the snippet. So we'll paste the title in here, and this is what I mean by it. You know, here's Yost's tutorial, and this is the meta description here. So this will be included below your link and your title to your post or your page. So the content of this meta description here in the snippet, in the search engine results snippet, can change depending on what the searcher types into the search box here. So this doesn't always stay the same. So even though you've placed a meta description in here, it's not necessarily what Google will show here. So that's quite interesting, but you don't have any control over that. So that's pretty much it for the settings. Just in conclusion, down the end here, these are a couple of important tips that I've left here. Write for people, not search engines. This is very, very important. Create unique, relevant and compelling content that answers your readers' questions. So really you want to give the searchers what they're looking for. So I've written a really good article on that. Keep in mind your readers' needs, challenges, frustrations and goals, and this is something you have to work out, and you've got to connect with your readers and find out exactly what their needs, challenges, frustrations and goals are, and focus your content on these. So that's really important. I've written a post about over-optimization and keyword stuffing, so make sure you don't go too far with SEO. Write for people, not search engines, and don't forget that Google's algorithm changes quite frequently, so you're never going to work it out. No one has. So just try to keep your content relevant, focused, and helpful and useful. So that's it pretty much for the second part of the WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin settings. Thanks for watching, folks, and see you next time. Cheers.